Hello students, today we are here to discuss the solutions to the CBSE 2017 board paper. Today I have with me set 1 and I'll be discussing the solutions of set 1 with you over here. If you can see the first question of your paper, the first question of the paper says, does partnership firm have a separate legal entity? Give reasons to support in support of your answer. This is a 1 mark question. This is a simple basic 1 mark question and it's a basic theoretical question. The answer is no. A partnership firm does not have a separate legal entity because the partners' private assets can be utilized to set off obligations or liabilities of the firm. Now in this question, the main parts that will be judged, the main segments which will be checked is the first reply, that is your first indication that no, partnership firm does not have a separate legal entity, and the second reason is going to be the second part is going to be the reason, that would be partners' private assets can be utilized, right? अगर पार्टनर के प्राइवेट एसेट्स हम यूटिलाइज नहीं कर सकते तभी वो एक सेपरेट लीगल एंटिटी बनती है, राइट? Now coming on to the question number 2. A and B were partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 4:3. They admitted C as a new partner. The new profit sharing ratio between A, B and C is 3:2. A surrendered 1/4 of his share in favor of C. You have to calculate B's sacrifice, right? This was a very easy question since you had to just calculate B's sacrifice. You don't have to calculate the new profit sharing ratio as since it was given. So you can simply use the formula sacrificing ratio. Sacrifice is equal to old share of the partner minus the new share of the partner. So since you know the old share of the partner, B's sacrifice would be equal to old share of B, that would be 3/7, minus new share of the partner, that would be 2/7. So his sacrifice is equal to 1/7. That remains to be your answer. So this becomes your answer. Coming on to question number 3. For a 1 mark, it was a question of past adjustment. Let's go through it. P and Q were partners in a firm sharing profits equally. That means their profit sharing ratio is equally. Their fixed capital were 1,50,000 respectively. The partnership deed provide interest on capital at the rate of 10% per annum. For the year ended 31st March 2016, the profits of the firm were distributing without providing for interest on capital. You have to pass the necessary adjustment entry to rectify the error. So as you know, in this type of question we need to prepare for 2 statements. The first is the journal entry and the second is known as statement of adjustment. So I will first prepare the statement of adjustment for you. Now in the statement of adjustment, as you know, since there were two partners, so we'll be making up 3 columns. One for the firm and 2 for the partners, and individually their debit and credits. Here goes the firm, Q and P. So since the old profit is not given to us, our first work will be to first distribute the correct profit sharing ratio. You know the interest in capital is at the rate 10% per annum, right? So the individual partner must have been credited and the firm must have been debited. So P must have been debited by 10,000, that comes out to be 1 lakh ka 10%, and on an other note 50,000 ka 10% in case of Q, right? And 15,000 is debited in the firm. Now you need to adjust this 15,000 and you're going to adjust it equally. That comes out to be 7,500. Now we are going to just adjust this account. The total out here comes out to be 7,500, 10,000. So the net impact here in the firm will be nil. Here it will be 2,500 debit and 2,500 credit. So your journal entry will come out to be Q's current account debit to P's current account being wrongly distributed profits rectified. Right, this question was a very basic question. This question was a very basic question wherein you had to first prepare a statement of adjustment in which you had to, it was a very basic statement of adjustment, and you know that the calculation is also very simple because it was a 1 mark question. So you just had to prepare a single statement of adjustment, simple calculations, and then you had to pass a journal entry, right? Now moving on to the next question. Question number 4. If you can see the question, X Limited invited applications for issuing 1,009% debentures of ₹100 each at a discount of 6%. Applications for 1,200 debentures were received. Pro rata allotment was made to all the applicants. Pass necessary journal entries for the issue of debentures, assuming that the whole amount was payable with application. Again, a very simple question wherein you have to pass simple journal entries. So there will be 2 journal entries that will be passed in this particular question. This is going to be the journal of X Limited. So your first entry will be bank account debit to debenture application and allotment account, and the amount would be 1200 into 94. Since it was a 100 rupee debenture, it was a 100 rupee debenture for at a discount of 6%. So you have 6 rupees discount in it. Being applications for debentures received. And in the second part, you are just going to issue the debentures. Debenture application account debit, discount on issue account debit to, what's the percentage of debentures? 9% debentures to, you're going to refund the rest because since there is no further, so you can't adjust the amount. So this is going to be the same 112800. This is going to be calculated as 1000 into 6, that would be 6000. This can be calculated as 1000 into 100, that comes out to be 1 lakh rupees. And this can be the balancing figure. This can be the balancing figure, that comes out to be 18,800. Being allotment of debentures made and transferred to debentures account. Right, since it was a very basic question, a very simple question, but yes, it was a lengthy question because you had to pass 2 journal entries just for 1 mark. Now moving on to the next question. The next question is question number 5. Y Limited forfeited 100 equity shares of rupees 10 each for the non-payment of the first call of rupees 2 per share. The final call of rupees 2 per share was yet to be made. You have to calculate the maximum amount of discount at which these shares can be reissued. Now you know the maximum amount of discount that we can give at the time of reissue is the amount that has been credited to the share forfeiture balance. So in this particular question, to know it well, as you know, the share value is rupees 10, called up value is rupees 8, unpaid call is rupees 2. That means paid amount is 8 minus 2, that comes out to be rupees 6. So we have 100 equity shares, so the maximum amount of discount that is asked in the question, or you can write this as amount to be credited to share forfeiture account is 100 into rupees 6, that comes out to be rupees 600. So this becomes your answer. It was a very basic question. It was just to know the knowledge that you know at the time of reissue, that this is the particular concept. Moving on to question number 6. Gupta and Sharma were partners in a firm. They wanted to admit 2 more members in the firm. List the categories of individuals. मुझे categories of individuals list करनी है other than minors who cannot be admitted. That means मुझे वो लोग लिस्ट करने हैं जिनको मैं अपनी पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म में एडमिट नहीं कर सकता as per the rules, as per the law. This was again a 1 mark question. Now the individuals who cannot be admitted to partnership apart from minors are: first, persons disqualified by any law, लोग जो disqualified हैं किसी law से. And the second type of persons is persons of unsound mind. Right? Who are persons of unsound mind? The people who actually don't understand the normal working. Right? Moving on to the next question. The first 3 mark question of your paper. Jain Motors converted its 208% debentures of rupees 100 each, issued at a discount of 6%, into equity shares of rupees 10 each, issued at a premium of 25%. Discount on issue of 8% debentures has not yet been written off. Showing your working notes clearly, past necessary journal entries on conversion of 8% debentures into equity shares. Now this was a very simple question wherein you had to convert the debentures, right? So the first thing in this particular question, you will need to first transfer the amount to debenture holders account, right? The first entry would be 8% debentures account debit to debenture holder, right? The amount will be 200 debentures of rupees 100 each, so it will be 20,000 debentures. Since the debentures were not redeemed at premium or discount, so the next thing will be debenture holder account debit to equity share capital to security premium. Now since we know that the shares were issued at at a premium of 25%, so we first need to calculate the number of equity shares. That can be calculated by 20,000, that is the amount, divided by 10 plus premium, right? So this comes out to be 12.5. So this comes out to be 1600 shares. So this calculation will be done in this way. 1600 into 10, 1600 into 2.5. Right? The next thing, as you know that the discount on issue was not written off, so what we are going to do is we are going to write off the security premium with the discount, right? So the third journal entry in this particular question was security premium account debit to discount on issue of debentures. Right, now we are writing off the discount. So first we need to calculate the amount of discount. Amount of discount is basically, since you know you issued 200 debentures of rupees 100 each at a discount of 6%. So your discount amount comes out to be rupees 6. So it comes out to be rupees 1200. Right, so these are the three journal entries that you need to pass in this particular question. It was a very simple question, very basic question. Right, moving on to the next question, question number 8. Another 3-mark question, a very simple and a very basic question. Amar, Ram, Mohan and Sohan were partners in a firm sharing profits in the ratio of 2:2:2:1. On 31st January 2017, Sohan retired. On Sohan's retirement, the goodwill of the firm was valued at 70,000. The new PSR between Amar, Ram and Mohan is 5:1:1. Showing your working notes clearly, pass necessary journal entries for the treatment of goodwill in the books of the firm on Sohan's retirement. So it is a simple question of treatment of goodwill in case of retirement. So the first thing that you need to calculate is the gaining and the sacrificing ratio in each of the case. So first you're going to calculate calculation of gain or sacrifice, right? This is going to be your first working note. So you know gaining ratio is calculated as new share minus the old share. So in case A's gain will be 5/7, that's his new share, minus his old share, that comes out to be 2/7. So direct calculation of 3/7. Then comes out Ram. His new share is 1/7 and his old share is 2/7. So that comes out to be a negative 1/7. That means he is sacrificing. Right, then we'll have Mohan. His share is also the same, so he will also sacrifice. Right, as you know, Sohan is retiring. So we are first going to calculate Amar's share of goodwill. That comes out to be 70,000 ka 3/7, that is 30,000 rupees. Right, Ram's share of goodwill that comes out to be 70,000 ka 1 by 7, that is 10,000. This is also equal to Mohan's share. This is also equal to Sohan's share, right? So for ultimately your journal entry will be Amar's capital account debit to Ram's capital account to Mohan's capital account to Sohan's capital account. You know the concept. The concept says gaining partner's capital account debit to sacrificing partner's capital account. So we have 3 sacrificing partners and 1 gaining partner. The gaining partner's share comes out to be 30,000 and the sacrificing partners share, all the 3 sacrificing partners share comes out to be 10,000 each. Right? I hope I'm clear. So being goodwill adjusted. I hope I'm clear. This is a very basic and a simple question that is taught while in the concepts of retirement. Coming out to be another easy question, question number 9. Z Limited purchased machinery from K Limited. Z Limited paid as follows by issuing 5,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, premium of 30%, by issuing 1,008% debentures of rupees 100 each at a discount of 10%, balance by giving a promissory note of rupees 48,000 payable after 2 months. You have to pass necessary journal entries for the purchase of machinery and payment to K Limited. Right? So let's make journal. Now you can see अभी तक कोई भी टफ क्वेश्चन नहीं आया है. दिस इज अभी तक कोई भी ऐसा क्वेश्चन नहीं आया है जो हम लोगों ने नहीं पढ़ा है, आपके कॉन्सेप्ट्स में नहीं पढ़ा है आप लोगों ने. It was just at the very same time you had to just apply your minds. That's it. The first question will be you're going to purchase the machinery. Now आप लोगों को मशीनरी की प्राइस नहीं दे रखी, सो मैं अभी के लिए इसको ब्लैंक छोड़ रहा हूँ. सो वंस वी आर डन विद द इशूइंग वील गेट टू नो द एक्चुअल अमाउंट दैट हैज़ बीन, जितने की हमने मशीनरी खरीदी है. राइट. नेक्स्ट, के लिमिटेड account debit. Now since you know that the debentures were issued at a discount, so discount account debit to, first thing we have is equity share capital account debit. You also have security premium on, you also have a security premium on equity shares. You have 8% debentures that were issued which were at a discount, and you also have a bill payable. If you remember, there was a credit note. You know that the bill payable was of 48,000, right? Now we are coming on to the workings. Number of equity shares issued. Number of equity shares. You know how many shares were issued? There were 5,000 shares that were issued, right? So 5,000 into rupees 10, that comes out to be 50,000, and 5,000 into 3, that comes out to be 15,000. Further, you know how many debentures were issued? 1,000 debentures of rupees 100 each. So 1,000 into 100, That comes out to be 1 lakh. And further, you have a discount 1000 into, you have a discount of 10%, so 10. So that comes out to be 10,000. You can do the totaling. The totaling comes out to be 2,03,000. That means the machine that was issued was of 2,03,000. दिस वॉज अ स्मार्ट वर्क. मैक्सिमम बच्चे क्या करते हैं, अपना टाइम वेस्ट करते हैं पहले सारा कैलकुलेशन टोटलिंग करने में. पहले ये अमाउंट कैलकुलेट करते हैं, फिर उसके बाद यहाँ पे सारा सेग्रीगेट करते हैं. यू कैन डू द स्मार्ट वर्क. फर्स्ट पास द सेकेंड जर्नल एंट्री, कैलकुलेट करेंगे ये अमाउंट इससे इक्वल होगा, यू कैन डायरेक्टली प्लेस इट अप. दिस इज़ वेयर यू सेव टाइम, राइट? Okay, now we are moving on to the question number 10, the 10th question of the paper. Akash Limited registered with an authorized capital of 8 crore divided into equity shares of rupees 10 each. Subscribed and fully paid up share capital of the company was rupees 4 crore. For providing employment to the local youth and for the development of the rural areas of Jammu and Kashmir state of the company, decided to set up food processing unit in Anantnag district. The company also decided to open skill development centers in Ladakh, Srinagar and Punch to meet its new financial requirements. The company decided to issue 1 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each and 10,009% debentures of rupees 100 each. The debentures were redeemable after 5 years. The issue of equity shares and debentures were fully subscribed. A shareholder holding 1,000 shares failed to pay the final call of rupees 2 per share. You have to prepare the balance sheet of the company as per the provisions of Schedule 3, that is the latest schedule of the Companies Act. You also have to identify any two values that the company wishes to propagate. Now, another very simple question. You need to prepare the balance sheet. So, the first thing that is to be done in this particular question is you will be required to prepare the balance sheet and then the notes of accounts. So as you know, in this particular question we just have to prepare the extract. So the heading is going to be equity and liabilities. इसके अंदर first heading would be shareholders fund. And इसके अंदर there will be a sub point that would be called as share capital, and there will be a B point called reserves and surplus. Right, since there is no premium or anything, no capital reserve, so we don't need to prepare any note for reserves and surplus in this particular question. Also in this question you have been given that there has been issue of debentures, so you have to make up the second heading, that is of non-current liabilities, right, in which you have a heading called long-term borrowings. For which you have to prepare a note, and comes the total. Right, now in this particular question you don't have to prepare the asset side, since the question clearly states that you just have to present the share capital and the balance sheet of the company. That means we just had to prepare the liability segment, we don't have to prepare the asset segment. Right, so let's start. We will also make the schedule for notes to accounts. right? We will first prepare notes to accounts and then we will move on further. So here you have note number, right? Then you have particulars, you have a working column, and then you have an amount column, total amount column, right? So moving on to the first note, that is note number 1, which is headed after share capital. So the first thing that you need to show up in this particular note is authorized share capital. It is given to you in the question, authorized share capital. The authorized share capital is given to you in the question, 80 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. We have been given 8 crore. Right? The next thing you have is issued, subscribed, called up, paid up capital. Right? Now that capital has been given to you since you have issued. You are given that 4 crore, that means 40 lakh shares are already issued plus 1 lakh आपने और issue करे हैं बाद में. So that means a total of 41 lakh shares have been issued into 10. So 41 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. This is to be written in the bracket. So that comes out to be 4 crore 10 lakhs. Right? जिसमें से हमें we have to subtract calls in arrear. You remember calls in arrear. There are some calls in arrear. What's the calls in arrear? You have 1000 shares of rupees 2 each. That means 2000 rupees का calls in arrear है. That comes out to be a total of 4 crore 9 lakhs 98,000. Right? And this becomes your total. And then comes note number 2. And then comes note number 2, which is long-term borrowings. जिसके अंदर आपके आएंगे 9% debentures, right? जिसमें आप लिखेंगे 10,000 debentures of rupees 100 each. That comes out to be 10 lakh. Right? This becomes your notes to accounts. The first notes to account, that comes out to be your share capital, जिसमें आपका सबसे पहला segment रहेगा authorized share capital, double completed. Issued, subscribed, called up, paid up सारा एक ही है, जिसमें आपका amount आएगा 40 lakh shares जो already issued है और 1 lakh rupees जो आपने और raise करे हैं. So total comes out to be 41 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. Total capital 4 crore 10 lakhs, जिसमें से कॉल्स इन अरियर है 1000 शेयर्स जिन्होंने फाइनल कॉल ऑफ रुपीज़ 2 पे नहीं करा है वो माइनस कर देंगे. दैट कम्स आउट टू बी 4 crore 9,98,000. एंड फर्दर द लास्ट, द सेकेंड नोट कम्स आउट टू बी द लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग्स, दैट इज 9% debentures, 10,000 debentures of rupees 100 each. Amount comes out to be 10 lakh. We'll just enter these amounts in the balance sheet and we are done. that comes out to be 4,9,98,000 and 10 lakhs. You can have a total of 4,19,98,000. Right? Now, you need to remember two things in this particular question. If you don't mention this particular amount, your marks will not be deducted, this total. And also, if you make the asset segment also, अगर आपने assets का segment भी बना दिया तो उसके भी marks deduct नहीं किए जाएंगे, but it will be an extra work. So why to do it when the question has not asked for it, right? I hope I'm clear.